back. From the Emergency Operations Center in Tallahassee, Jared Moskowitz has been coordinating the state's response to COVID-19 while also getting ready for hurricane season.
He recently spoke to CBS 4's Jim DeFede about having to throw out the old playbook for hurricane preparations and come up with a new one that will work during a pandemic.
Obviously, you have to make changes with COVID-19, and we've been doing that. It's why at the very beginning of this, we have a planning cell here at the Division of Emergency Management that we took out from the COVID response, and from day one in early March said, you're going to plan for hurricanes with COVID-19. You're going to analyze things like shelters. Are we going to do mass congregate sheltering? Maybe we have smaller shelters. We're clearly going to do temperature checks at these shelters. People would have to have PPE. People are going to have to be separated. If someone comes and has a high temperature or COVID, what do you do with them? Do you bring them to a COVID-only shelter? We're also in conversations with FEMA, and I'm looking forward to a decision that they're going to make about non-congregate sheltering. What does that mean? That means putting people in hotels, pre-event, pre-landfall, putting them in hotels. We have an electronic system here that we've worked with a partner on about pre-registering in the electronic system, even checking into that hotel. Additionally, unfortunately, our hospitality industry here has been taking a huge hit after the pandemic, and that could be a way to also help stimulate the hospitality industry and might be a real win for families.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's stay with shelters for a second. Will the COVID crisis affect the way you might give orders to evacuate?
On evacuation specifically, what we're talking to our local county emergency managers about is that perhaps we can limit evacuations in specific circumstances. Let me give you an example. Clearly, if you live in a surge zone, right, you live in an area that floods, you're going to have to evacuate. But if we're dealing with a Category 1, Category 2 storm, and you live in a structure that was built after 2002 with the Hurricane Andrew building code from Miami-Dade County, do you have to evacuate? And the answer potentially is no. You might get a stay-at-home order where other people might be issued an evacuation order. So these are all the things that we are examining. We're doing that in close consultation with FEMA. We've brought in folks like Craig Fugate, former Administrator Craig Fugate, former Administrator Brock Long, as folks to give us additional advice. Because let's be honest, nobody out there has any experience doing hurricanes and pandemics together. And we've been preparing this now for several months, fine-tuning everything, making sure, obviously, that we provide the tools necessary for our local folks who make these decisions. But there's no doubt evacuations may be done differently.
You asked the question of yourself earlier, do we do mass congregation shelters or do we do smaller shelters? Have you reached a conclusion on that?
So yes, the answer is FEMA has put out guidance, and that guidance is that shelters should be limited to 50 people or less. And so that question, something that we were asking ourselves in early March on that particular topic, has been answered by FEMA. That guidance has been pushed out to the local county administrators, local county emergency managers. And so if there are shelters, they will be much smaller.
Are you worried that you might have a situation where if Miami-Dade and Broward and Palm Beach are being asked to evacuate north, that those counties that would be receiving Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach residents may not want them because of a fear that they're bringing COVID with them into their community?
There's no doubt that there's a question of, do you evacuate out of a hot zone? Do you evacuate into a hot zone? Maybe you just evacuate east to west and get people as inland as possible. That's where the non-congregate sheltering comes into place. I anticipate that all the counties are going to work together. And if we have to evacuate people out of Broward or Dade and we have to put them in hotels, let's say hypothetically in Orange County, I anticipate that folks are going to step up. We have done a great job in the state of Florida, county to county, with mutual aid, people understanding that one year it's Irma, the next year it's Michael, the other year it's Matthew, hitting completely different areas of the state. We rolled equipment from Miami-Dade County all the way to Bay County. We just had a fire in Collier County. We rolled equipment from all over the state. The fire in Santa Rosa County, equipment came as far as Gainesville. So everyone in Florida understands we're all in this together. One day it's them, one day it's us, and we have to work together.